Hello, welcome to More Yoga with me, Emily. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you're doing well and ready for a really sort of gentle, not necessarily sleepy, but a nice way to wake up the body. Um, I taught a class this morning, not super early, but early for me, and it felt really lovely. So I thought I would share a similar sort of thing with you, just a nice way to wake up, even before you've had breakfast, which I know, even before coffee, how is that even possible? Anyway, make your way to a seated position. I'm sitting up on a chip foam block, so it's about this high. Just honestly, that little bit of lift helps release through the hip flexors and tilts the pelvis forward slightly so that you can sit with a tall spine. Now, if you don't have a cushion or something you can sit up on, don't worry about it. If you always sit on the floor without one, give it a shot. Try it out. Props are our friends, right? They give you ease. Right? Yoga doesn't have to be a battle. And in fact, it probably shouldn't be a battle, right? If it's feeling like the struggle bus, just to sit up, give yourself that little bit of grace. Okay, anyway, enough about that. Once you have found a comfortable seated position, however you want your legs to be, I'll invite you to close your eyes. And then for a few breaths, inhale through your nose. Exhale, sigh your breath away. Couple more, just like that. And then continue breathing however feels best. It could be in and out through your nose or your mouth. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a bit stuffed up lately. So breathe however you need to. And then notice how your breath is flowing. How does it feel? How does it sound? Right? There is nothing to fix or change. You are perfect the way that you are. But our job as people who do yoga, yoga practitioners, right? Because it is a practice. Our job is to observe. Observe the breath, observe the body, and observe the mind. And as you're following your breath, you might notice that thoughts start to come and go, and that's totally normal. If or when you notice your mind starting to chase a thought, just acknowledge whatever thought you might be having with compassion, without judgment. But then let it go so that you can draw your focus back to your breath. And every time that you're able to do that, that's it. That's yoga. And everything else that we do, the ways of living, the physical practice, those are all accessories, shall we say, to the focused mind and the union of the body and the mind. Last few breaths here. And then you can keep your eyes closed if you wish. As you inhale, start to lift your chest up to the sky. Little squeeze of the shoulder blades toward each other. Exhale, round through your spine. Pull through the shoulder blades. Inhale to lift your heart up to the sky. And exhale, round. So a few more of these on your own time, on your own breath, and it can be really fluid and slow, or it could be sharp and fiery if you wish. And the next time you inhale, pause at the top. And then as you exhale, start to draw circles with your torso down and forward. Inhale back up. Now, these circles could be really shallow, they could be really deep. Your head might stay long on the end of your neck, particularly if you get a little bit dizzy, or your head could flop around. So, a few more of these. Keep going in the same direction. Exhale forward, inhale back. And then on your next exhale, gently switch directions. Couple more. And on your next inhale, pause at the top. Woo, gather your equilibrium if you're a bit dizzy. And then reach your right arm up to the sky, left fingertips come to the earth. Inhale, lengthen through your spine. Exhale, take a little side bend over to the left. Now, as soon as we do this, our right sit bone wants to lift up. So reach it back down to the earth. And as much as you're grounding the right sit bone down, reach your right fingertips away. Make sure the bottom shoulder isn't sneaking up. You could even press the left hand away from you on your mat to kind of puff up into the ribs and get more length on that side of your body. And then inhale, come back to center. Let's switch sides. Left arm reaches up, right up, hand out to the side, and then exhale, side bend to the right. Again, start to root your left sit bone down as you reach your left fingertips away from you. You might press your right hand away, making sure the shoulder isn't creeping up into that space by your ears. And then inhale, come to center, shake it out, and then reach both arms up to the sky. As you exhale, start to twist to the left. So the right arm comes forward, the left hand comes behind you. You could press your left fingertips into the floor so that you find more lift, more length here through the spine. And as you exhale, maybe you twist a bit deeper, but make sure that your right hip isn't sneaking forward. So wrap it back in line. Last couple breaths here. All right, and then inhale, return to center. Oh yeah, arms. Then exhale, twist to the right. So left hand comes forward, right hand comes behind you. Keep wrapping that left hip back. Maybe you press the right fingertips into the floor to find more lift, more length here. And as you exhale, maybe you twist a bit deeper. And then inhale, return to center, shake it all out, unwind your legs. Let's make our way to hands and knees. So knees underneath hips, toes can be tucked or untucked. Hands outer shoulder width, apart or wider, and we'll start to move through cat and cow. So as you inhale, lift the tailbone, hollow through the lower back, broaden through your collarbones. Exhale, tuck your tailbone under, round through the spine. Really press the floor away from you. Inhale to dip the belly into cow. Exhale, round the spine into cat. So a few more of these on your own time, on your own breath. Maybe you feel like there's some natural movement that would feel really good here. It could be a little wag of the tail from side to side. It could be barrel rolls through the chest. Go where you need to go. You might start to send your hips back toward your heels to get into the low back. You might snake toward the floor. This is your time to wake up your body. So move how you need to move. All right. And then come back to center. From here, cross your right hand in front of your left. Now, the further forward of the left hand you go, the more stretch you're going to feel on the right side of the body. Tuck your toes, exhale, shift your hips back. Now you can stay up high on your palms, or maybe you come down on your left forearm. Try to keep your right elbow lifted though. Maybe wag your tail a little bit from side to side, but really trying to find one long line now through the right side of the body. Maybe from your right pinky finger all the way down to the right sit bone. Last breath here. And then press into your left hand to come back to center, little wiggle or shake. And then we'll switch sides. So the left hand comes in front of the right. And again, the further forward you go, the more stretch you're going to find. Send your hips back, and you might stay up high here or come down onto a forearm. Try to keep the left elbow lifted though. Maybe take a little wag of the tail from side to side. Sometimes I see people doing this with their hands really close together, and honestly, I feel nothing if I do that. So that's why I need to take my right hand really far forward. Last breath here. All right, and then inhale, come back to center, little wiggle or shake. I'm going to turn to face you. You might want to have a pillow or a block nearby, just in case for this next one. And then plant your left hand, pick your right arm out to the side, or maybe lift it all the way up to the sky. Exhale, thread underneath to the left. Don't get too cozy here. Press back into your left hand. Inhale to open and up. Exhale, thread and twist. Land one more time. Inhale, open. Exhale, twist. And then here you might bring the back of the shoulder to the floor or the side of the head. This is where having that blocker pillow can bring the floor up to you so that you don't have to go down so far. And then you might play with what the left hand is doing. You could just stay here pressing into the floor, getting a bit more of a twist, or you could bring the heel of the hand to the crease of the right wrist, getting more traction. You could raise it up to the sky or drape it behind your low back. Right, an infinite number of options here for you. Last breath here. All right, plant your left hand. Inhale, unwind, shake it out a little bit, and then we will switch sides. Plant your right hand. Take the left arm out to the side or inhale up to the sky. Exhale, thread and bow, and then press back into your right hand. Inhale to open, and exhale, thread. One more time. And then you might bring the back of the shoulder or the side of the head to the floor. You might stay here or play around with what the right hand is doing. Maybe the heel of the hand into the crease of the right wrist. And maybe reach it up to the sky or drape it behind your low back. Again, any number of options that might feel good here for you. As I twist here, I'm looking toward our Christmas tree. I think I just saw a sneaky Christmas present under there. All right, plant your right hand again. Inhale, open, unwind, shake it all out. And then look to the top edge of your mat. And then step forward into your standing forward fold. And so you could rest your elbows on your knees or your thighs, or you could clasp opposite elbows with hands to get more traction through your spine. This is a fantastic place to bring blocks underneath your hands. Again, to bring the floor up to you. Right? Just because I can touch my fingers to the floor doesn't necessarily mean that's the best place for me to go. Yeah, so go where you need to go. You could be still. You could take a little sway from side to side. Make sure your knees aren't caving in though. Can you track them out ever so slightly toward the baby toe edges of your feet? And then release your hands. Bring your fingertips to your shins or blocks or the earth. And as you inhale, little partway lift back, stays long, back of the neck stays long. So try not to lift your chin. Exhale, let it all go. Couple more, just like that. Inhale, little partway lift. Exhale, fold. And then bend your knees, tuck your chin into your chest, slowly start to roll up to standing. One vertebra at a time, as slow as you need to go, till eventually you come all the way up. Take a couple loops of your shoulders, up, back, and down. A little wiggle, noodle, or shake out. All right, bring your hands to your hips, bend your knees. Let's take a few hip circles one direction, and then the other. And then a little twist from side to side. You could shift your weight from one foot to the other, taking it into more of a sway. And then pause back in center. Feet hip width apart-ish. Again, hug the legs toward each other. Tailbone to the ears slightly, belly button to spine. Little buoyancy on those knees. Inhale, sweep the arms up to the sky. Maybe follow with your gaze. Exhale, dive or fold down to the earth. Forward fold. Fingertips to shins. Inhale, little partway lift. And exhale, fold. Charge your legs. Inhale, sweep all the way up to the sky. And exhale, hands to prayer, stay standing. Inhale, sweep the arms up to the sky. Exhale, dive or fold down to the earth. Inhale, little partway lift. Exhale, fold. Charge your legs. Inhale, sweep all the way up to the sky. And exhale, hands to prayer. One last time, just like that. Inhale to the sky. Exhale, melt to the earth. Inhale, little partway lift. Exhale, fold. Charge your legs. Inhale, sweep all the way up to the sky. Exhale, hands to prayer, and then pause here. Hands could stay in prayer or by your side. Maybe eyes closed, couple breaths, just to feel what you feel. And notice what you notice. And then flicker your eyelids open. Shake it out a little bit. You might want to turn to face the long edge of your mat if you would like to. It's not a big deal. It just depends on how slippery your surface is, or your floor is, rather. Your surface. Whew. Okay, take your feet wide. And then all 10 toes pointing forward. Start to bend into your right leg. You might stay up high. You might rest an elbow here. Try not to lock out this knee. Mine naturally does that. Maybe you're feeling something in the adductors. Maybe not. That's okay. And then maybe you start to twist, rotate. Bring the hand to the knee and one hand to the low back. Or maybe you start to reach down and the other arm up to the sky. And then unwind. Come back up to center, a little shake out, and then bend into the left knee. Again, you might stay here. Oh, now I feel my adductors on this side. Right, again, try not to lock out that right leg, but keep it straight. Option to stay here, or maybe you start to twist to that left knee, right, as deep or as gentle as you need. And then unwind. Come back to center, shake it out a little bit. Heel and toe the feet toward each other slightly. I guess it depends on how wide your feet were. Turn your toes out and then sit into your wide leg squat. So really use the support here of your hands on your knees. And you can use your hands to send your knees back toward the baby toe edges of your feet. Excuse me, try not to dip forward. So it's not a hinge, right? It is a squat. All right, and let's get into those adductors. Now, press your right hand into the thigh, dip your right shoulder forward, twist to the left. Now you might be feeling something into the groin on the right side. And then inhale back to center. Exhale, left shoulder dips forward. Inhale, center. Once more each side. Come back to center. And then stand up, heel and toe the feet together. Shake out the legs. That's enough standing, if you ask me. Let's come back down to the floor. Inhale, sweep the arms up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, little partway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees. Plant your hands. Step back to hands and knees. Little wiggle or sway or cat and cow. I'm going to turn to face you, and we're going to be doing a bit of single knee balancing work. So if you want to bring a block or padding underneath your left knee, then now is a good time to do that. And then step your right foot forward. So we're coming up to half kneeling. Back out of the hips, hug the legs toward each other, squeeze the bum like crazy on the back leg, not with your hand, but engage. Well, if you want to squeeze your butt, you can. Shoulder blades on your back. Maintain all this as you start to shift forward. Right, back toes can be tucked or untucked. Doesn't really matter what my front foot is doing if it's out of the frame. It's all about that back leg. Squeeze the bum like crazy. And if you're leaning forward, you're not getting as much extension at the hip as you could. So press the palms forward, send your torso back. Maybe now you're really feeling the opening of the hip flexors on that back leg. And you'll notice the more you squeeze your bum on that back leg, the more you're going to feel the stretch. Last breath here. All right, start to shift your hips back as you extend through the front leg for half splits. Hands could be on hips or wall if you have them. If you have walls, if you're close to a wall, hands could be on blocks or maybe the floor. If you have a deeper variation of splits, then you're welcome to slide forward. Otherwise, stay here with me in half splits. Wrap the outer left hip forward, draw your outer right hip back. And it's almost going to feel like you're trying to drag your front heel back toward you. Now, you could actually intentionally do that if you want to. The foot won't move very much at all, maybe a couple millimeters. Flare the toes on the front foot, peel them back toward your face even more, really getting into those calf muscles, as well as the hamstrings. Make sure there's a micro bend on the front knee. Right? You might not see it, but just so you feel it. Last 2 breaths here. All right, slowly back out of the hips, and then sweep your right knee underneath you. Little wiggle or shake or cat and cow. And let's do those on the opposite side. So again, if you're using padding, bring it underneath your right knee, and then step or sweep the left foot forward. The cool thing about using padding under your knee, not only is it more comfortable, which again, yoga doesn't have to be the struggle bus, right? We get into some uncomfortable places, but you can give yourself the padding. But it also lengthens your femur by however much, which means that your lever is longer, so you get a deeper stretch, right? Not just a pretty face. Back out of the hips. And really hug the legs toward each other. Squeeze the bum on the back leg. Nice tall posture. Maintain all that as you start to shift into that front knee. And holy moly, I don't know about you, but I'm really feeling the hip flexors on this side. Squeeze the bum like crazy on the back hip. And our bodies are sneaky. That contraction on the back bum will want to release. Keep reminding yourself to squeeze it. You might press the palms forward to send your torso back, getting even deeper into those hip flexors. Last couple breaths here. All right. On your exhale, shift your hips back as you extend through your front leg for half splits. Again, hands can go wherever. If hands on hips is super wobbly and you don't have anything near you for support, bend your knee a little bit more so that you can bring your fingertips to the floor. You're still getting a hamstring stretch. It's just closer to the bum than it is at the knee. Right? The hamstrings are a really, really long muscle group. So we can stretch them in different ways. Wrap the outer right hip forward, draw the outer left hip back. Again, maybe you feel like that little drag of the front heel back toward you. Micro bend the front knee, flare the toes on the front foot, and peel them back toward your face even more. Getting that really active opening for the entire length of the back of the leg. And I know hamstring stretches can be intense. I'm there with you. Last couple breaths. All right, slowly back out of it. I'm going to turn just to face the top edge of the mat. Come down, hands and knees. Little wiggle or shake. And then shift your hips on one side. So you can bring your legs forward. And then bring your hands behind you. Fingertips might do point back. That's going to give you more opening at the shoulders. And then press into your hands and feet enough that you can shift your hips forward closer to your heels. And then from here, wrap your elbows, your shoulder blades toward each other. Really lift your heart up to the sky. Try not to break through the neck. Right. So back the neck stays long. You might be feeling this in the chest, across the front of the shoulders, maybe down the upper arms if you've been hitting the bicep curls lately. I know you. I have too. Last few breaths here. All right, gently bend your elbows, shake it out, and then we'll make our way down onto the mat. You can grab the backs of your thighs for more support, or maybe tuck the tailbone and start to do a Pilates style roll down. You could come down to your side first, and eventually make your way onto your back. Hug your knees toward you. Take a little rock from side to side. And then keep your knees bent. Plant your feet. From here, we'll take a figure four stretch. So cross the right ankle over top of the left thigh. Make sure that the ankle really is on the thigh, though, and not all the way across, because you lose the stretch. This might be enough, or you could bring something underneath your left foot to deepen the stretch. Or maybe you start to draw your legs toward you. You could just use the muscles of your core, so you don't even have to use your hands if you don't want to. You could rock a little bit from side to side. By all means, if you want to bind behind the left thigh, then go ahead and bind. But then find a place where you can be still for a couple breaths, just breathing into the release on the outer right hip and thigh. All right, last breath here. And then gently unwind your legs, shake them out a little bit, and then we'll switch sides. So now cross the left ankle over top of the right thigh. Again, this might be enough if you want to deepen it. Start to draw your legs toward you. You can take that little rock from side to side. You could bind behind the right thigh. Last few breaths on this side. And then slowly inhale, unwind, shake out your legs. And if there's anything else you feel like you need before your rest, maybe happy baby or some sort of posture or spinal flexion or extension, feel free to go where you'd like to go. Otherwise, start to make your way into your final resting pose. You could be flat on your back, legs bent or straight. You could rest on your side or in child's pose or in a seated meditation. And as always, there is absolutely no rush to get there. But once you have found your pose of rest, for 3 breaths, inhale through your nose and exhale, sigh your breath away. Couple more. Let go of your breath. Let go of any last muscle gripping or tension, particularly in the neck or the jaw. With each exhale, let your body melt a little bit deeper into the earth. Again, thoughts may come and go. Acknowledge them without judgment, but let them go. Let them drift by you like leaves on the wind. And then bring your focus back to your breath. Stay here longer if you can, 5 or 10 minutes. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.